Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Void. I'm Player One, and welcome back to the play novel Silent Hill. Last time, we finally got a regular ending. We got, I believe, just the regular good ending. Kaufman was there. We fought the incubus. And yeah. So now we have the quite big task of filling out the whole flowchart. So I'm here at the previous choice of staying with Lisa, and I noticed quite a big gap between this and the nowhere portion. So, wonder what's all gonna go in here. I'm gonna guess Lisa's gonna give that. But alright. Let us continue on. Ahem. Don't worry. I will do what I can. A quiet smile appeared on Lisa's face. I softly hold her delicate body. I'm happy. Lisa's body quivered. However, maybe that is just because she is relieved. She looks at me with empty eyes, eyes that have lost their life. Then her lips began to tremble and a look of astonishment appears on her face. Lisa's condition becomes abnormal. She then extends her hand out towards me. Help me. She doesn't say it, but I know that is what she's saying from the movement of her lips. While she stares into the air, Lisa's body appears to drift and wiggle as she edges toward me one step at a time. She falls to her knees. She falls on her hands. With me fixed in her sight, Lisa is falling headlong down the staircase to death. And then Lisa stopped moving. With Lisa now no more than a doll in front of me, I once again notice that I am inside the hospital, a place which is wrapped in an evil atmosphere that I have never seen the likes of. Okay, and then we have her diary, which is the same. Need drug. Okay, and then... Oh, now we're here. Wait, huh? So that ain't do shit? Do I still need to finish this path? I'll go ahead and finish it just in case, even though it is the same square. Alright, got back to the end. Anything? No. Okay. So it does seem like there are just some options that don't really go anywhere. Which is a sad thing, but hey, I guess not everything can lead to an ending. I mean, like, Lisa was gonna die anyway, so yeah. So then what the hell is all this? Huh. Weird. Okay, well then. I guess now we go back to the previous decision, which is not this one. This is the one where he's at home for some reason. I guess it would be... So this is at the lighthouse, and then this is going to Alessa, which then leads into the home ending. But there was another option here, so I guess we should take that. Right. We could bravely jump in to where Alessa was. Ba 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 ba. I was walking on air. With each step I took toward the distortion, I was stepping on air. Finally, my body is completely enveloped in that hole. Inside, Alessa was sitting on the ground, sobbing. Alessa. Alessa covered her face with her hands, and her shoulders trembled as she cried. I nestled up to her and knelt down. Suddenly, the area became a sea of fire. Among the heaps of debris, Alessa is screaming. This is what is in Alessa's mind. Alessa's suffering mind. The detestable event of 7 years ago, the flames that burned an entire section of the town, it was being replayed before my eyes. Alessa! I shook her shoulders in an attempt to wake her from this nightmare. Alessa raised her head, and when I looked at her, my heart nearly stopped. Cheryl. It is unmistakable. This girl is Cheryl, whom I have been searching for. Cold rain moistens my cheeks. When I come to, I realize I am standing on top of the lighthouse, staring off into the empty darkness. A dream? Was I hallucinating? Oh, and what about Cheryl? In order to return to the boat from the floor, okay. Back to the boat. Sybil's not here. Ran toward the amusement park. And now we're at the amusement park. Okay. So this also seems to just be a not really important decision. I see. Well, now I can test something out, because I'm not getting to the end again just from that. Now I can test something out. Let me drop a save right here, and let me go to another decision right here. Or not. I don't think this one. Yeah, head back to the boat, and then I'm here. Yeah, okay. So not this one. But I do believe that this option will save. So it's now permanently on the flowchart, and I don't have to get to an ending for it to save. Okay, well, we go back more. Back to here at the boat, and I guess we're joining up with Sybil. I will go to the amusement park. As usual, I pretended to go along with what Sybil is saying and nodded. I cannot let Sybil go alone. Even if she is a cop, it would be terrible if something were to happen to her while she is trying to help my daughter. I waited for a little bit, and then headed after Sybil. I decided that I could always go to the lighthouse later. Within a current of guessing that raced by like a revolving lantern, I ran toward the amusement park. I arrived at the amusement park by going through the sewers. In the amusement park, which has changed to the form of the other world. Oh. Oh man, that just skipped all that. Is this gonna be the same, though? No way this stays the same. Lovely attractions. Pass by the Fears of merry-go-round. Quite a bit of time has passed since she came here. I suppose maybe she didn't find Cheryl in the back to that ship, but the only way to get here is through the sewers. If she had gone back, we should have learned. What is this? Sparkling liquid. Source of the liquid. And then... yeah, back to Sybil. Huh. Yeah, so that didn't seem like it did anything. Pull the trigger. Yeah, so now we just kill her. So it seems like that just skipped the whole lighthouse segment. Not really finding anything new here, which is kind of upsetting. You see how there's like different lines and stuff of what happens? It's probably going to be something like specific endings and stuff is only going to happen. We have specific choices. And I'm going to have to look up which of those I need to do in which order. And well, let's go back to the next choice. Question had been on my mind, Annie's bar. Right, this was ask him about Alessa or show him the picture of Alessa. Both of these, I don't know how they would change much. Okay, I showed him the picture, so I guess I'll just ask about Alessa now. Do you know a girl called Alessa? His hand, which he had placed on the doorknob, paused for a moment, and then he looked back at me. No. Kaufman quickly looked back at the door and left as if he were running away. Dr. Michael Kaufman. He definitely has some secret. He knows the main reason why his son followed him. Okay. Yeah, that definitely seems like one that would not have been huge. Damn, where are the important options? Because I know we barely have like any cards or endings. Huh. Okay, back again. Where the hell is this? This is the water tower on the building? After fighting the moth. Okay, so now I can choose the target on the moth. Here we go. This should give me something, right? I'll shoot the head. I rest the heavy rifle on my shoulder, and while being careful not to let any sweat get in my eyes, I place my finger on the trigger. Like many creatures, that monster has a brain. That is what I will shoot and destroy, but my target is quite narrow and small. The sound of my first shot reverberates into the night, but the bullet just grazes its head and disappears off into the darkness. Damn! But I do not give up. I must get closer to my opponent. But if I draw it in, then I must be ready, as doing so would be accompanied by danger. I avoid a shower of poison. Fortunately, the wind has begun to blow. To adjust its wings to the wind takes all of its strength, and it appears to be having a difficult time attacking me. This is my chance. I once again steady my aim, and then I pull the trigger twice in a row. Poink poink. In that moment, its head vanished from its body all at once. Without its control tower, those wings and poison tusks were just that, and they fell like a rag between the buildings. The nightmare still continues. Okay, and then that brings us here. And I'm going to assume that the wings will just be right there. But let's go ahead and mark it anyway. I aim at its wings. Its wings are so large that even if I did blow a hole in one, that it would not make much of a difference. The base of its wings. If I destroy the joint at the base of its wings, then they will no longer function. I adjust my aim. However, aiming at such a small area is quite difficult for an amateur like me. Besides, my opponent can freely fly in the sky, which makes me think that the shot is near impossible. While dodging it, I point barrel of the gun at the soft area below its chest. It adeptly uses its large wings to pursue me, but eventually its strength runs out and it falls between two buildings. Green liquid leaks from its insides and screams echo throughout the town. The nightmare continues. The nightmare continues. Okay. So there was a bunch of fucking nothing. You know what? I'm curious. I'm gonna look at the achievements and I'm gonna see how many more endings there actually are. Alright, well it says there's 5 more endings. I'm going to assume that they're all gonna be based on, like, individual choices though. Which may be annoying. But I guess we'll just have to map it all out first. The water tower on the building. I must kill it here, firing the rifle while... Fire the rifle while avoiding it, hide in the shadows of the buildings. I guess we'll do that. I hid behind the water tower, and from the slight opening I observed the gigantic monster. A monster that circles the sky in an attempt to catch me. Using the water tower as a shield, I study its movements and at the same time look for a vital point. Its head, with those poisonous tusks. Its abdomen, which contains a large amount of poisonous liquid. Its wings, which it can freely control. Calm down, I told myself. I must focus on only one target, and then we're back here. And then we're back here. Yep. Alright, what about this one? Oh, the other Lisa moment. I'm pretty sure I left Lisa here, so I'm going to take her with me. I speak. How about coming with me? This may not be the safest place in the world either. I can't promise you anything, but I'll do my best to protect you. No. Somehow I feel like I'm not supposed to leave this place. Oh, Harry, I'm so scared. Cold. I waver. Is it okay for me to leave Lisa alone? But then what will happen to Cheryl? Cheryl has only me to depend on. My concern for Cheryl cannot be compared to my concern for Lisa. As soon as I found okay. Wait, that's the one I picked before? That I did? Huh. I guess I did. Alright, I'm gonna pick the other one then. Leave Lisa here. Lisa, this way no longer. Okay. Yeah, there you go. There's that. And it literally just skips the other dialogue, and then we're already out. Man, some of these really don't do anything, huh? Okay. And this is the Better Biller. Since it's at my side. Let's do behind. Wager that is coming from behind. I spin around and fire the rifle. It just appeared there, and my first shot went right through its head. It exploded like a piece of fruit exploding. And liquid with a revolting color and horrible smell began to flow around it. I pursue it as I begin to try and escape back into the ground, firing the rifle on this deserted floor of the town center. I leave the town center. And then we got one more here. Front. Hold the rifle low and aim at the area where I think it will come out with my finger on the trigger. I pulled the trigger at the same time I heard it come out of the ground. However, the bullet just flies through the air. Once I realized this, it was already too late. Its giant body was towering over me from behind, with its tusks already brimming with poison, and then that poisonous liquid fell upon my raised arm. Ow. Oh god. Why'd the textures do that? Luckily, the poison liquid only burned my jacket and did not reach my skin. I pulled the trigger over and over until I ran out of bullets. As its screams echoed, the only thing that kept me going as I was about to pass out was Cheryl's smiling face in my memories. And then I leave the town center. You can't actually die in this game. There's no, like, bad endings. You can't lose anything. So then what the fuck is the point of the options in the fights if they don't do anything? Weird game. Very weird. Very weird. Very strange game. Okay. Other part of the fight moves on to the steel plate. What was the other option? Stay where I am. I will not move from this position. The steel plate looks like it would be safe. However, I would not be able to sense its movements below me if I moved on top of it. I judge that staying in this position is best for attacking. Finally, it is about to rise above the ground again. No text. And this time only behind or front. Okay. Well, this seems to be like a slightly different choice. Let's go front. Hold the rifle low. I pull the trigger. Flies through the air. Okay, well. Ow. Burnt my jacket. I leave the town center. Yeah, that's technically a different option, even though it ends up being the same dialogue. Go behind. Spin around, fire the rifle. Right through its head. Piece of fruit. And then I leave the town center. Okay. So it ends up being 5 different options that all do nothing. Man, this game didn't even really need a flowchart. Just kind of the most bare-ass bones choice game I think I've ever seen. Okay, back again. Still fighting the bug. Damn. Run. I've got to escape. I turned around. The only thing I am satisfied with is getting hold of the rifle, but I cannot find the hole in the fence that I just came through. Odd. I begin to run. However, it pursues me from under the ground with unthinkable speed. The tremors at my feet gradually get stronger and stronger. I fling myself to a stop and notice a steel plate lying in front of me. However, Is this the same option? Stay where I am. I'll not move from this position. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same options. Game is losing its mystique. Alright, but this is the last one in chapter 10. Searching the second floor. Let's search the first floor. Instead of going up to the second floor, I decided to check out the first floor. Dilapidated department stores can be seen through the metal gratings. Everything is scattered about, and a giant spider web bigger than any I've ever seen stretches throughout the area. I walked along the fence that bordered the first floor. After passing by a show window with mannequins, I came to a walled-off space. Sand is spread all over. A high ceiling, a circular hole. I bent down, I find a rifle. Yeah. And then we're back here. So, you have the entrance to chapter 10 right here, and then the exit to chapter 10 right here, and everything just goes there. None of those options matter. Awesome game. Very cool. Okay. What's this one? Antique shop. Who should go first? Maybe this will be something. Sybil will go first. I cannot beat her bravery. Even though I look like this, I am a police officer. Please trust me. I will stay here. If anything looks wrong, then yell back to me. Sybil brightly smiled and then disappeared into the darkness. After a bit, I was no longer able to hear the echoes of her footsteps from the passage. It looks like the passage is longer than I thought. I took another look around the disorganized antique shop. The shop in itself is just beyond the bottom of the stairs leading down from the entrance. Inside, it looks like what I would expect an antique shop to look like, as it is all cozy and such. So things like that passage leading deeper in are unimaginable. Drowsiness is threatening my consciousness. It is not unreasonable. We left past midnight, and without sleeping a wink, I've been walking all over town while searching for Cheryl. I'm on the verge of falling asleep. A scream from what I think was Sybil brought me round. I know I heard it. I energetically stand up and rush into the passage. There's something at the end of the passage. Something dangerous is... I made my way into the room at the end of the passage. It is small, and the smell of something having been burned is in the air. Altar, this is the church. Okay, is this the same? This is the same. Okay. This is the same. But this actually may be something, because now Sybil might be in danger. So I think this is one I'm going to investigate on. I'm going to investigate on this. Let's drop a save there. Let's go through this. This is going to be the same. And then we're back at Lisa. And then since that option is now saved, no it's not, I have to keep going through this. Okay. So now that option is saved. Apparently not? Why can't I go forward? Why does it go back to the other option? Do I really have to go through it all again just to save that one option? Ugh. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I don't think it's actually gonna change anything. Damn, man. Where are the changes? Examination room. Okay, so this is first meeting Lisa. Who is it? So we approach. I'm gonna fire the gun. I'm gonna kill Lisa. I readied the handgun. So there's more of you bastards. I can depend upon only this gun in this hospital, which had become a nest for monsters. At the moment I was about to pull the trigger, a woman shrieked, "Wait, don't shoot! I'm human!" With my gun still readied, I carefully looked at the woman under the desk. What are you doing under there? And now everything is normal. Oh, textures, why? Why you do that? Ew, that's weird. Because it's technically a choice, but since it ends up going to the same thing, we just skip it, so it's like slightly before it. Weird. Okay. Illusion on the desk. Unfinished diary. Okay. I'm gonna pick up the picture. Alessa. That name appears in a small engraving in the lower right of the picture, and I read it aloud. The girl in the picture just looks at me, with her gentle lips open in a way that makes it look as if she wants to say something. That face, which I have a memory of seeing, is especially pretty. This girl is... In the middle of my sentence, I went silent. As I began to return the picture frame to its original position, I noticed that something is written on the back. O2 4Y DNA. What is this? The incomprehensible letters have been scribbled there. A feeling of doubt runs through my chest. I moved the picture from the frame. I placed it in the diary that was sitting beside the picture frame. I then held the diary tightly under my arm and left the room. 5001. Hello? Hello? The phone had suddenly gone dead. She tried to call back right away, however the call would not go through. Weird. Okay, I don't know what that was about. What is this one? Looking at the floor. I look inside of the cabinet. I look on top of the cabinet. Look on top of it. Laid a desk so thick, was a piece of the cloth that had been laid on the cabinet there is nothing of interest. Then my butt, hard enough for it to be unpleasant. Ah, ta. Ta 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 ta. There I discover something odd. Countless lines have been bored into the old flooring, and fiber-shaped wooden chips are exposed. Move the cabinet. Still fresh. There's something beyond this cabinet. Okay. And then what about inside the cabinet? Putting force into my fists, I pounded the cabinet's small wooden doors until they broke. Inside there is nothing of particular value. At that time, it was like I could feel air coming from behind the cabinet. So this Marcus is going, okay, and now we're back, here. Damn, really just nothing. Okay, what's this one? Pointing the gun forward. Run past the monster behind me. Turn around and begin to run towards the monster that was behind me. Evading the large swings of its knife, I run down the dark corridor, occasionally stumbling. And that really just did jack shit. Okay, swaying white figure, ready the gun. I'm gonna leave this area. I'm in danger. I try running away. However, I can hear the owner of that eerie groan pursuing me from behind. I thought that maybe it was echoing off the walls, but that is not the case. I became aware of my situation. I am clearly surrounded. No choice. It's probably not human. I firmly grip the gun, and then... it's still going. Eventually, something white enters my field of vision. I just aim the flashlight to my chest, and the monster has a very large hump on its back. Readied my gun. Slash at me, usually dodge the attack. Damn! I kick it in the face with the bottom of my shoe. Okay, this seems to be the same. Ha. Crush it with my foot. And then we're back here. Okay, well. Yeah. Folks, this is kind of crazy, but that's the episode.
That's it. That's the last episode.
Like, it's not the lost episode. This is the flowchart episode. Nothing's happened. Damn. How did we get no important choices? Absolutely fuck all. Well. We're only on chapter 8, so I still got 7 more chapters of choices to go through. This one seems sort of promising. Hopefully. I mean, there's a big gap here, so it may be promising. Maybe. Alright. Well, I'll end it there. I've been Player One, and I'll see you next time when hopefully we actually find an important choice and start to get some endings. Alright. Bye bye.